This is KBaker, and I am taking you through my capstone and research project on the assessment of active digital reading skills. During the 2014-15 assessment of the PARCC standardized test, I observed students struggling with the testing platform and reading academically on a screen. Students were also not transferring their paper-based reading activities of highlighting and annotating to a digital text. For my needs analysis, I used my 9th grade honor students who are proficient readers. I conducted an initial digital reading survey, a pre-instruction reading assessment, and a post-assessment survey. Initial survey responses indicate that students are moderately proficient with technology, but more so on a personal level and not necessarily for academics, and that their teachers primarily still use paper-based reading activities. Also, students, while they are able to be consumers with a digital text, being able to be passive readers, they do not know how to be active and embed their own annotations within the digital platform. My pre-instruction reading assessment broke my students into 3 testing groups. One took it on paper, another Curriculate, a digital reading platform, and a third took it via a Google site I created that mimics the PARCC digital testing platform. Students read 2 different texts and answered multiple choice questions. The scores, paper-based, had the highest average score, yet Curriculate had the lowest standard deviation, and the Google site had the greatest range of scores, with the highest score also being among that group. Also, important to note is that 2 students did not correctly submit their answers and therefore earned a score of 0. When I calculated the average score, I actually took those 2 zeros out so that I could get an idea of their skill set. But this is very important with digital testing, that if students do not know how to submit their responses, their scores will not provide an accurate reflection of their skill set. Students were also surveyed and asked how they felt about the test, with many of them thinking that it was easy. And I also asked if they actively read, and overwhelmingly 80% chose not to actively read. Even those on paper did not actively read. And I found that if students felt that a text was easy, they did not actively engage with the text. And digital reading requires more than just reading words on a screen, that in order for it to be effective, they have to be engaged, as well as on paper. My literature review confirmed this with studies showing that while initially lower comprehension rates on screens did occur, in contemporary studies, students actually do okay on digital reading assessments because they have had as much access with their personal devices. Optometrists found, though, that digital reading can cause physical issues, that the number of blinks decreases and eyes dry out, which increases headaches. My students also reported that they do not like to read for extended time periods on a text that's on a screen because they do get headaches. Other surveys found that when texts have numerous hyperlinks, that it increases the cognitive load of the reader, and therefore they do not retain as much information. Yet when hypermedia is embedded inside of a text, they actually do retain the information and comprehend better. Other literature reviews brought up that students need to be social in their reading, that collaborating with other readers and annotating is completely in line with Vygotsky and Bandura, and that when students are social readers, they do retain the information. The goal for my capstone project is to increase digital reading assessment scores, but my objectives are about breaking out these scores into mastery tasks. I want students to accurately transfer paper-based reading skills to digital texts. I want them to be able to access the dictionary feature, correctly highlight important information, as well as create their own annotation. The learning environment will be my classroom, which enables the students to relocate the furniture into group setting as well as individual. My instructional plan includes blending paper and technology, modeling their active reading skills, and practicing this individually as well as in small groups, and that students will demonstrate mastery of the tasks in various platforms. The instructional design will take place in a 43-minute period with the majority of the class time spent on learning activities, and students will conduct an exit ticket via a Google form to help me ascertain their weaknesses that need to be addressed during the next class time. To model with Screencasts, I will be flipping the delivery of my instruction, where I will provide a video that shows me actively reading, and students will annotate a paper text as well as annotate digital text in Google Docs. And they will be able to be collaborative with their Google Docs, learning the basics of hypertext as well as training them to slow down their vertical scrolling. Students will work collaboratively within the document and demonstrate fine motor skills of inserting their own annotations and highlights of the text. Using Curriculate, a web-based free digital reading platform that aligns with Common Core standards, I'll be able to monitor student progress and also flip my delivery of instruction by embedding hypermedia and checkpoints for understanding directly inside the text while students are reading. Curriculate can be used on any screen, so students can get practice with reading on different sizes. I can track student progress with their average quiz grade, their question accuracy, as well as their time on task and alignment to Common Core standards. The assessment will include demonstrating annotation of Google Docs, demonstrating capturing screencasts, of accessing the dictionary feature in Curriculate, as well as embedding their own annotations in the platform, and passing reading checks within Curriculate. The final assessment piece will be a post-instruction digital reading assessment where we will replicate from the needs analysis and students will take a test on paper, another group via Curriculate, and a third via the Google site, with the hopes that the scores will be better than the first round of testing. Evaluation of this entire plan will include exit tickets conducted by students in the form of Google Forms, analysis of all the assessments of student learning objectives, possible colleague observations of my class, and summative evaluations by the students via Google Form. And to conclude, a final thought that I'm going to adapt Maya Angelou's quote here. Any book, whether it's paper-based or digital, that helps a child to form a habit of reading, to make reading one of his deep continuing needs, is good for him. And I thank you very much, and if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out.